Welcome back. This is the Word with G podcast. I'm your host, Greg Leonard, and today we're here to preview the NFC Championship game, the Packers versus the Seahawks. I'm going to give you two X factors, one from the Packers, one from the Seahawks, and we'll look at what will be different this time around from the Week 1 matchup where the Seattle Seahawks defeated the Green Bay Packers 36-16. So you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. First, the Green Bay Packers X factor in this game will be Davante Adams. He has emerged. He's come up huge in big games this year, i.e. New England, i.e. Dallas last week, and he's put together a very, very solid rookie season. 38 receptions, 446 yards, 3 touchdowns, and his role is only growing as the season goes on. Like we alluded to, the big games, New England, 6 catches, 121 yards. With a drop touchdown. Could have been a lot more and a better line. Against Dallas last week, 7 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown this time. And I believe they're going to utilize him the same way this week as they did against the New England Patriots. If Davante Adams can find himself on one-on-one matchups against the second or third quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, I expect Aaron Rodgers to take advantage of that. Seattle's X factor this week, I believe, is going to be utilizing their wide receivers. Percy Harvin in the first matchup was able to be very effective with the wide receiver sweep and the reverse plays. He was also the leading receiver last time, 7 receptions, 59 yards, 4 carries, 41 yards. They don't have him. They shipped him out to the Jets. Who's going to step up in his place? Will it be Doug Baldwin? Is it going to be Jermaine Kearse or Ricardo Lockett? They need to try to keep Green Bay on their toes defensively. Do something else. Utilize one of these wide receivers. Maybe have one of them throw a pass. Maybe have one of them on a reverse. They need to do something with these other wide receivers. So now what's going to be different this time around? For the Packers, it's going to be the rookies. Corey Linsley, HaHa Clinton-Dix, Davante Adams, and Richard Rodgers. These guys have all had a season worth of experience under their belts now. All have the faith and the trust from Aaron Rodgers now. Linsley with the snaps and the blocking. Davante and Richard with the receiving ability to get open, take advantage of one-on-one matchups. HaHa Clinton-Dix in the first matchup had a decent game, had his only sack of the year in that game, had a couple pass defending, but he missed a couple of key tackles in that game, whether it be on Russell Wilson, whether it be on wide receiver, whether it be on Marshawn Lynch. But he turned it around and became the second leading tackler for this team, so I look for him to have a little bit better of a game and be more confident coming into this game than maybe he was in the first week of the season. Brandon Mebane, their defensive tackle, also on IR with a hamstring injury, not going to be playing, obviously done for the year. That might open up some holes for Eddie Lacy. Luke Wilson, the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. His first 14 games of the season, nothing to write home about. 17 receptions, 191 yards, and 1 score. However, the last 3 weeks, last 3 games, 9 receptions, 239 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yes, that's in the last 3 games. You heard that correctly. Finally, Aaron Rodgers. Still probably the best quarterback. Definitely is the best quarterback in this league. And probably the MVP of the league. And instead of being on 2 healthy legs in this matchup, he's rolling on 1.5 healthy legs. But since the injury, he's had nothing less than 108.1 passer rating. He's had a total of 860 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, and of course, no interceptions. So Aaron Rodgers, still the MVP, and looking good. So this has been the X Factors and what will be different in the NFC Championship game. Packers, Seahawks, stay tuned. In my next video, I'll give you the keys to the game for either team to be successful. This is the Word with G podcast. I'm your host, Greg Leonard. You sit back and listen, and I'll explain. Catch you next time. Welcome back to another edition of the Word with G podcast. I'm your host, Greg Leonard. And today, we're looking at the keys to the game of the NFC Championship game between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. So the keys to the game in this one, both ways, is going to be in the trenches. The Packers offensive line versus the Seattle Seahawks defensive line. The Green Bay offensive line has been together since week 3, and as we know, continuity is huge in the National Football League, especially on the offensive line. Week 1, starter Brian Bulaga got injured against the Seahawks, and Derek Sherrod had to step in, and boy did Seattle take advantage of him. Against this offensive line, I think they'll need to rush more than 4, and Dan Quinn is going to have to mix some things up, send some creative blitzes at this offensive line and Aaron Rodgers. Test him, see if he's able to move around on that 1.5 leg, see how it's feeling early in the game. Because as Rodgers said, he's not very mobile. The leg affects his mobility, but it doesn't affect his rhythm. So they want to try to get him off his rhythm with the wide receivers and the tight ends of the Green Bay Packers. Over to the other side, Seattle offensive line versus the Green Bay defensive line. The Seattle O-line might have a weak spot in it, and this weak spot could come at right tackle with rookie Justin Britt. He's been good in run blocking. He's maturing as a pass blocker. But when you get him out of position and off his mark on the offensive line, on pass blocking, especially against a man like Julius Peppers, this could be disaster for Russell Wilson. He could be on the move early and often in this one. On the other side of the ball, defensively for Green Bay on the defensive line, Detroit Guion has been huge. He's been a fixture since week 1, after week 1, because he wasn't really too involved in the week 1 matchup. He was coming back from an off-season injury, so he's been a fixture in the middle of that defensive line. He's going to have to be huge in trying to contain and stop Marshawn Lynch. Clay Matthews' role also evolved since the last time the Seahawks faced the Packers. He's been working on the outside. He's moving inside to middle linebacker. A.J. Hawk really isn't playing that much. He's on the field every once in a while. Sam Barrington's been there. And Clay Matthews and Sam Barrington have been going out in coverage every once in a while. Especially against Luke Wilson, I suspect that they'll end up having to do that. So they need to contain, as I said, Marshawn Lynch. Don't give up the big plays, especially to him. And Russell Wilson on the other side, don't let him get outside the pocket. Don't get killed like Colin Kaepernick killed you guys in the last couple of years. I hope Don Capers finally, third time's a charm, is able to stop these quarterbacks that like to run around a lot and get outside the pocket. So this has been your Keys to the Game. It's going to be in the trenches between the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks this Sunday in the NFC Championship game, with the right to go to the Super Bowl in Arizona on the line. This has been the Word with G podcast. I'm your host, Greg Larner. You sit back and listen, and I'll explain. We'll catch you next time.